Are we hitting our heads against a debt ceiling? Welcome to Outing the Idiocy, where we expose the idiotic things in life. Today I'd like to discuss the debt ceiling crisis, where we are already approaching the legal limit of $14.3 trillion in debt and want to raise this limit so that the government can continue to borrow to meet its financial obligations. First of all, how in the hell on earth do you incur $14.3 trillion of debt? This is totally insane. That must have been some fancy car you bought. How did we get into this jam in the first place? Well, by our government authorizing deficit spending. That is, by our government spending more than the revenue it took in. Then borrowing to make up for the revenue shortfall, which is called deficit financing. Our government really doesn't have a viable plan to pay back the debt. It just keeps borrowing more and incurs new debt to pay back the old debt, and then keeps repeating the cycle until our debt has ballooned out of control like it currently has now. This is a totally unsound financial concept. If our government was a real business, it would have gone bankrupt and folded a long time ago. It's a catch-22. To raise the debt ceiling just perpetuates the same old disastrous financial pattern. But to not raise it now could jeopardize our economic well-being. Our dumbass politicians in Congress and the White House put on a facade of being devoted to serving the public, but in actuality they have done a shameful disservice to the public with their irresponsible and wasteful spending ways, putting our country's financial status behind the eight ball. This is the height of idiocy. So let's see our brilliant politicians in action again. Can't afford this. No problem. Let's borrow money and spend it anyway. No money to repay the debt? No problem. Let's borrow more money to pay the debt and continue to keep borrowing to pay. Reach the debt limit? No problem. Let's raise the debt ceiling. Dumbass politician says, so we can just keep spending and spending and spending, borrowing and borrowing and borrowing. This is just like an all-you-can-eat buffet. Whee, this is fun. I just knew my Harvard education would come in handy. Dumbass politicians, you're going to have to raise the debt ceiling way higher in order to accommodate your big fat-headed egos. Oh yeah, thanks again for screwing the American public. We are forever in your debt. Until the next time idiocy strikes, see ya then.